welcome to Naomi Spot. I'm your host, Natasha Naomi Dukes. Thank you for joining us today. This is our kickoff episode, and we are so excited to have with us in studio today. Karen Hopkins is one of my guests today.
Hi.
As well as Ayo and Tony from Expat Life Ghana. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with their faces. We also have Judah from Jerk Soul Ghana as well joining us, and Nikesha Madison. Hello, guys, and welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
So we're going to get into the segment today. Let me just ask a question of the audience. When you think of Africa, what do you think about? What comes to your mind? Afrofuturism. Anyone else?
Returning to the motherland.
Okay. Those are all good. Most of us have been conditioned. When you hear Africa, we think of poverty. We think of starving children, and you see pictures on screen with elephants and babies with swollen stomachs and flies in their faces, and all of these distorted images in which have been shown to us over the years. Totally different than what we have been conditioned to think about. In 2019, Ghana commemorated, they actually celebrated 400 years of the enslaved Africans moving into America. And they called it the Year of Return. And this was in 2019, right around the time of COVID. And during this time, the government of Ghana opened their doors for African Americans to come and to tour and to visit Ghana. In some situations, there were offers of free land. Today, we're going to talk to some people who actually made the journey from America to Ghana. Not only did they make the journey of relocating to Africa, but they also created businesses while they were there. So this lets you know that all the poverty, all the things that you have seen, yes, there's poverty everywhere, but it does not mean that every part of Africa is suffering and struggling. There are areas in Africa that are doing well, and Ghana is one of those thriving areas. Today, we're going to speak to our guests, and they're going to share their journey. I'm going to start this conversation off with Tony and Ayo. They are actually the stars of HBO Max Coming from America. They are also the owners of Expat Life Ghana. Would you guys give a Naomi Spot welcome to my guests, Ayo and Tony?
Hey, family.
Hi, how are you guys doing today?
We're doing great, and we're so happy to be here to continue this conversation.
We are so
totally.
glad to have you, and so honored that you were able to, I know you're very busy, but to actually take time out of your schedule and share it with us is truly a blessing. I just
Our
want to start.
pleasure.
Go ahead, I'm so sorry.
No, it's our pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I just want to ask you guys, what motivated your move to Ghana, and how did the transition unfold from idea to reality?
You know, I always think that there's two parts to this conversation. I think the very first has to start with the idea that the Black American population in America is not a monolith. And so when we talk about our journeys for Tony and I, we definitely have two different journeys. My dad is Ghanaian. He came over to the United States when he was young to go to school, but I've always lived in a culture very steeped in African heritage, whereas Tony has lived a more Black American experience. And so as you think about this journey, I've been coming back and forth to Ghana since I was a baby, but Tony's first time was in 2016.
Okay.
And so your rationale was a little different.
Yeah, it was just getting pulled over by the police. I think for that last time where, I thought I reached that peak of success where, I'm in the suburbs and I'm, driving a nice car and I belong there, and, to get pulled over and no reason behind it other than to check your ID. And, that dehumanizing feeling that you get from that constant, feeling that somebody's out to get you.
Yes.
Uh, it just really wore on me, and I think that night I went home to Io, and I was like, Io, listen, I just can't do this anymore. I'm done with this. And I think that's when it really hit her that my life was a lot different than hers as far as being of melanated skin in America.
Okay. How has living in Ghana reshaped your understanding of identity, community, and just belonging as African Americans?
You know what I think is really interesting is that there is such a growing population of people from the West coming to Ghana right now. And there are some people who are coming here and looking for pockets of other expats just like them. But we've approached this a little bit differently. We definitely suggest to others and do ourselves to live the way that life is lived here as best as you can. So we just really try to be in community with the people around us and talk to your neighbors and do all of the things that you kind of wish happened in the US.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess I never realized, how much baggage I was carrying as a black man in America, where you come to Ghana and every man is a black man. So there's no black man. You're just a man here. And not worrying about where I go, how I act,
Okay.
if I'm talking too loud or if I'm showing
Yes.
too much emotion, that I don't have to watch my movements. I can just be free to be who I am.
You feel at home.
Um, yeah, yeah, it's relaxed.
That's
You're
awesome.
very relaxed here. So I guess it was just that black man in America baggage. Where here I'm just a man. And I'm good with that. I don't need that identifier.
Now, I've watched you guys on YouTube, and I love, love, love watching you two together. You're such a beautiful couple. I just want to tell you that. But also, I
Thank
noticed,
you.
I just want to point this out, Ayo. When I asked that question, Tony immediately looked to you. So he knew, let me go to the wife first before I start talking. I think you got him trained well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, professional. She's a professional speaker, so I just like to listen to her sometimes.
Yeah, she has a
Just
beautiful
say,
voice.
yeah, that's my wife. Yeah.
So let me ask you, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about relocating to Ghana?
Mm,
That is cheap and easy.
it is not either of those things. It is not.
Nothing cheap about Ghana. Nothing easy about moving here. I think a lot of people have this misconception that um, the rate exchange benefits them and somehow, but it really doesn't because a lot of the rents are high, and
Okay.
you want a box of cereal, it's like $25 for a box of cereal. So
Wow.
it's not cheap moving here.
No, no.
Oh, wow. That is
Yeah,
expensive.
we do. Yeah, we do a lot of consultations with folks who are planning their relocation, and a lot of it is around budgeting and planning. And so, just the awareness and knowledge that there is definitely an expense to this. You have to have a plan, and also that it's a challenge whenever you move. Even if you move down the block, it's a challenge
Yes.
to move. So, moving internationally is going to be a challenge.
So let me ask you your opinion. So what do you think of all the videos that you see on YouTube where all the African Americans who've moved over, they're now bawling. You see them standing in front of these expensive cars and mansions. Is that true? Or is that just for social
I
media?
think
Yeah, well, huh?
That's actually why we started the channel.
Yeah,
We had a really hard time of finding truth in content, right? It was
Okay.
like the stories were either the Susan Struthers, Save the Children, Flies in the Eyes, or like these baller lifestyles that honestly on the ground are pretty expensive.
yeah, yeah.
So that was why we started Expat Life Ghana in the first place, was kind of to give that truthful lens of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, and we
Yeah,
thank you. We thank you for doing that.
yeah. You definitely will see people coming from the States and living that lifestyle, but they were living that lifestyle in the States, and it's just a little easier for them to live it here. So It's not like they came here and just started living that lifestyle. They were in the States living that lifestyle for sure.
Okay. So let me ask you, what advice would you give to families considering making the move? I know that you guys, it's one of the businesses that you do have in counseling people as they're trying to decide if Ghana is the right move for them. What advice would you give to them, especially, around schooling, housing, healthcare, those types of things? Are they going to come to Ghana and it's going to be the same as it is here in the U.S.?
It is not going to be the same. But if you want it to be the same, then maybe you should think about the real reason why you're leaving.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is you need to come first. We do get people who will get on a call with us and be like, listen, I've already bought my ticket. I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. What do I need to do? And we're like, hold up, you need a plan to make this work well. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest advice is have a plan and come to do a little bit of on the ground scouting first. Just come and make sure this is the vibe that you're looking for, that this is the environment that is conducive to you and your personality and your family, that you can make this work. Because there's so many opportunities across the continent. It doesn't have to be Ghana. Of course, we say Ghana's a place for us, but
Yes.
if you get here and it's not for you, there's other opportunities. So
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So how do you navigate cultural differences while building authentic relationships with the Ghanaian neighbors and colleagues?
Yeah, I think just being part of the community, just putting yourself out there. We just live in a regular neighborhood. There's no difference from our house than any other Ghanaian people in the neighborhood. We don't do anything different than they do. There's a lot of gated communities that a lot of foreigners they live in, but I think the best way, as far as appreciating the cultural differences, is just being in the community.
embrace the culture.
Just being there and learning the culture, learning the language, just showing the people, hey, I'm here enjoying the freedom that you enjoy
Yes.
and the peace that you enjoy just like you, and I think they appreciate that more than anything, just you being part of the community and not making yourself any different than they are.
Okay. Can you share with us just a moment that affirmed your decision to relocate, something that felt deeply connected to Ghana?
I know mine. I think mine is different than yours.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's watching our kids. So we lived in an affluent, like a middle class neighborhood outside of Houston, and when the boys would go out to play, it would be like, listen, you can only go 2 houses down and 2 houses to the other side. And I have to be able to see you the entire time. And I need to know where you are. And you can't go into your friends' houses and you can't go into people's backyards. And if you're going to go into somebody's house, there's a lot of anxiety parenting Black children in America.
Yes, I understand.
And for me, like right now, it is 5 o'clock at night. My 10-year-old is outside riding his bike with his friends. I have no idea where he is, and he is having a ball. And I know that our community has got their eyes out for him. They come and tell me where they've seen him. People will check in. Sometimes I'll get calls, be like, I saw him here or there. It's such a different experience to know that your kids have the lifestyle that you kind of idolize from your youth, right? Like just the opportunity to be a kid in a way that doesn't mean picking up the baggage that Tony was so happy to put down. So I think for me, that's that moment where I'm like, I know this is the right space and the right place.
Yeah, and I think Io, hers is very different than mine. I as much as I truly enjoy watching Leo, he's like the mayor of the neighborhood. For me, it was going out with a walk with Pop, and that's Io's dad, where we started getting laid, and then we see a couple guys down this alley, and Pop he's just walking down the alley, and I'm like, yo, Pop, do we really want to go down this alley? And he's like, sure, why not? And he goes, these guys, if I don't bother them, they won't bother me. So, there's like three or four guys down in the alley, and he could tell I had some concern. And we just walk down the alley, we get close to these guys, and they all stand up and start saluting us, saying, "Oh, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir." And for me, I was like, okay, I'm looking at these black men like they're a threat, and they're looking at me like respect for uncle. And I thought that's a problem. I've been conditioned to look at myself that I'm a danger or a threat. And so when I go to a place and I see somebody who looks like me, I think the same thing. So now I see a difference in how I look at myself, how I walk and carry myself, and how I look at people who look like me, how I make sure that they get the respect that they deserve,
Absolutely.
like I should get the respect that I deserve. That was something that was missing there in America that y- it's gone. I don't think they'll ever get that back.
Wow. It sounds like that your environment is the way it was years ago. So remember years ago coming up, the neighbors looked out for each other. They
Hmm.
looked at, they told your mama that you was someplace you had no business being, and they were able,
Right.
to spank you, and you try doing that now and you might get shot. So yes, I totally
Shot to the
understand.
jail, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely, it's the sense of community that we grew up with, and it's just good to be in a position where, okay, our kids can have some of that innocence of being a kid.
I feel like the American dream might not be in America for everyone. And if you have a feeling like it's not there for you, then it's an opportunity in this moment to look outside, look elsewhere. And for us, truly, the American dream that we were all hoping for all these years, we found it in Ghana.
Hmm.
Wow, that's very powerful. Let me just ask you one last question. What role does Expat Life Ghana play in supporting new arrivals, from logistics to emotional support? I know you guys have had parties, welcome parties, and group tours. If you can kind of share exactly what your services does or provide to the diaspora that's looking to return.
Yeah, we built this business honestly because people kept calling us up and being like, "Yo, will you pick us up at the airport?" And Tony was like, "Sure, I'll pick you up at the
Yeah.
airport." But yeah, we offer tours, relocation services in terms of connecting people with realtors and builders and services so that they can make the transition smoothly. We also do consultations with folks if they want to hop on a call and just pick our brain or get some opinions to help them plan. But uh, we have our throwback party coming up in December,
Hmm.
but we are actually launching a relocation summit for April 1st and 2nd, 2026. So there we're
Okay.
going to bring together speakers and vendors so that people can get the firsthand information that they are desperate for in this moment. We will have in-person and virtual options. So we are really excited to kind of spread the message and allow people to get a quality set of information so that they can make a good decision and a plan.
Okay, so where can our viewers reach out to you guys if we're interested in attending the summit?
expatlifeghana.com/summit26. That will get you the information that you need so that, or get you on the list so we can get you that information. Otherwise, if you're just looking to connect, expatlifeghana.com, Expat Life Ghana on YouTube, on Instagram, and in all of the other places.
Oh, thank you so much, Ao and Tony, for joining us. We really do appreciate you. If you have a few minutes, would you mind taking some questions from our audience?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Sure. Thank you. I'm sorry, there's one question coming over.
Yes, I was wondering about your healthcare system. How do you go about obtaining healthcare? And do you feel it's quality? Would you fly back to the States if it was something else? Or
I think there's a little trouble with hearing.
Yeah, we just can't hear. I don't know if there's any way to get a mic.
Yes, she has a mic.
Coming down, have to get past the camera.
All right.
Thank you so much. Edison, first of all, but my question involves healthcare. When you relocate to a place, you're hoping that you have, if you're of a certain age, you might have different medications, different healthcare needs. How do you navigate that in Ghana? Is the healthcare top quality, or would you fly to the States if you needed things? How are you navigating the healthcare system during the relocation?
Most of what you need for basic healthcare is here and of high quality. We are meeting all of our needs for the most part without having to go outside. Tony had surgery a couple of years ago, and we found out then that the difference maker is really knowing what hospitals or organizations are of your quality and standard. So when you get sick and something happens, they can take you to a local doctor, they can take you to a local clinic, they can take you to a local hospital, they can take you to an American style hospital. You need to know which one of those you want to go to, and the service will be different in all of those places. But we have found that going to a Western style hospital has been great for us. That's what we do, and we are able to meet almost all of our needs, from surgery to Leo fell down and broke his collarbone. We get our medications all here. But I will say, like, if you have a very complex medical history and need, that's definitely something that you are going to want to do. Why it's so important to come and visit.
Yeah, visit, research, see what type of service they offer. And there's a lot of Western style, like Io said, there's a lot of Western style hospitals that they have, they're owned by Ghanaians who trained in the States and have come back to open up and try to fulfill that need of, a better healthcare here. So
Yeah.
the healthcare system is growing, and it is getting more up to where you have those Western standards. So
Yeah, but knowing where to go is important.
yeah, definitely knowing that.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions in the audience? We're going to take one more, and then we're going to keep on moving because we're short on time.
No
All right.
problem. Thank you.
Hi, hello?
Hi.
Hi, so my question was, you mentioned that, there are, or items that are,
Can she move the camera around? I can't see her.
so there was a phrase that you said about, things are a bit more expensive for items, like a cereal might be, like $20-something, for, I guess, women who loves to shop, right? And we're so accustomed to getting the orders received within a matter of a few days, like Amazon may have same day, next day delivery, 2-day delivery. Are you guys able to order your products that you may normally order online and get them within a reasonable amount of time? And are the prices higher than usual as well?
No.
No,
Question.
that goes into, the food is very fresh here. There's not a lot of supermarkets and grocery stores like you can just throw a rock and hit one in the States. So there's a lot of smaller markets where you would get your fresh vegetables and things like that. There's a meat cold stores where you'd go for your meat or something like that. But it's really
Yeah.
not
And I think,
that's not the culture here.
yeah, I think that in America, we're just so consumer based, right? Like, our favorite pastime is shopping. And that shows in how we spend our time and we spend our money. Here, you're going to notice that, yeah, you can go out and shop. People have very small refrigerators. You're doing your daily grocery shopping very frequently. The reason cereal costs $25 is because it's getting imported from the West, and there's a fee that kind of comes with that, because that's not something that's standard,
Yeah. Cereal isn't
not a
big,
thing here.
Yeah, that's the foreigners.
Right. So what you're going to notice is that the thing that you're doing the most of, like that shopping, getting things next day, that's not part of the system or the culture, because your consumerism is not your priority in terms of pastime. There's just other things to do, and you get to shift that towards these other things. Whatever it is that you're ordering in 2 days, girl, you don't need that stuff. You don't need it like that.
Yeah.
You can just enjoy the things that you already have and live a slightly smaller life that is also more fulfilling.
Yeah, and if you're living like a Ghanaian, you'll see your finances not go crazy.
Yeah.
People can live like the Western lifestyle, and it's very expensive here. Or you can live like a Ghanaian and do very well, and not have those high exorbitant expenses.
Do you have the microphone? Okay. So Ao and
Tony.
Tony, my question is, I had friends who studied abroad in Ghana 30 years ago. And I remember they had water shortages at University of Accra and things like that. Now, again, that was 30 years ago. When you design your house or purchase your house in the neighborhood, how do you account for those things? Do you have an extra tank on your home? Is it well water, or, you know, these are things that I remember my friends coming from their study abroad trip saying these were everyday things in Ghana. Now, again, things have grown by leaps and bounds here in the stateside, and I'm sure they've grown by leaps and bounds in Ghana. But are there any of those pieces or things that you encounter that, you know, people may not be used to coming from the States?
Wow. As far as water, we live in Timmins, so we have the water supply from the city here, and it's pretty regular. Sometimes the pressure will go down, and we have a big poly tank, 10,000 gallons or something like that. That we have if the water pressure goes down. There are parts of Ghana that don't have the city supply, so in those areas they drill boreholes for water supply. Um, there's parts of Accra that they don't get water every day, so they're living off of the poly tanks more, the stored water more. So things have gotten better here. I've noticed in the past 5 years
Yeah, no,
we've
it's been
been here
years.
that there are less water outages, and just more consistent water pressure. So
But this is where you get the real talk, right? We don't even have hot water in our house. So
Wow.
there's no hot water in the kitchen sink. There's just a knob. Water goes on and off. It doesn't get hot or cold. And I think, you know, somebody had come on a tour and they stayed at a B&B, I think, before they got to us.
yeah.
And they had said the same thing. They're like, there's no hot water. And I was like, yeah, you know, you get used to it. And she was like, I'll never get used to it. And then she came and stayed at the lodge. The lodge has hot water. So when we host people, there's hot water. But after a couple of days, she was like, you're right. It feels better having no hot water. The hot water's hot.
Yeah.
So you do just kind of get used to some of those inconveniences. It is definitely not like the West. But again, isn't that the point?
Right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle, and we do suggest people to come and experience Ghana before making any decision on moving.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would agree. Do you think that if you are accustomed to a certain lifestyle or you're looking for a lifestyle that's similar to the US or even better, do you think maybe the move would not be for that particular person who's thinking like that?
Oh no.
I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take this one right now. And I think there's a reason that this conversation needs to be kind of taken through the lens of a woman. And it's because as moms and as wives and as women, we have a bigger pie of the responsibilities in the US. Like we go to work full time, then we come home and we mom full time. And then when we have downtime, we mom and do, like, we don't even have downtime. What is downtime?
That's right.
Living here, we are able to afford with the same amount of income, right? Like we're able to afford a little bit more comfortable of a lifestyle. But the most important piece of it is that we can afford to have help. So we can afford to have someone come in and help with housekeeping and house cleaning. We can afford to have someone do our cooking. We can afford to have people drive when we don't want to drive. And that means that I will take as many cold showers as you tell me if someone will wash my boys' laundry.
Yeah. And,
I feel you on
know,
that one.
Yeah. And Accra is, they're calling Accra the Beverly Hills of Africa. And with all of the new luxury high rises coming up, there's no shortage of like luxury cars around. There are no shortage of, that high profile luxury life. So if you're looking, if you're used to that type of lifestyle,
You can put.
you can have it here. It's here, definitely here. There are so many millionaires
I know we're like the
around.
poors in
I
Ghana,
know.
like the poors.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of money here in Ghana. It's not just people from the States. A lot of Western countries, they're wealthy and elite come here.
I
Um,
mean, seriously,
it's
people out of
it's a
Nigeria.
it's a
So
melting pot right now
Mhm.
of people coming into Ghana. So you see all lifestyles, whether it's middle class, upper class, upper class.
Oh, wow. Well, we
Mm.
thank you so much, guys, for your time. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for the extended time you were able to show our audience today. We've learned so
thank you.
much from you, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Our next guest coming up is Nikesha Madison. Nikesha, how are you?
Hey, I am well. I'm having technical difficulties. It's my turn.
Yes, it is.
So please be patient with my internet.
No worries at all. So I'm glad to see your face. And one thing I want to just let people know about you, Nikesha is a Philadelphia native, and she has a beautiful, beautiful voice. This woman, I have to put this out there. She sounds exactly like Jill Scott. I know you probably hate to hear people say that because I know sometimes people don't like for you to compare them to someone else, but oh my gosh, she sounds just like Jill Scott. I'm putting that out there.
I appreciate you, and I love Jill Scott, and I love her work. So yeah, like I think it's an honor to be compared to her. I think Philly got a feel. It's like the way we feel music, the way we express ourselves. So I didn't know much about Jill Scott until I started, really kind of going out and singing, and people was like, "There's this woman you need to
Yes.
know," and I heard her work was like, she is amazing. So, and we're the same sign too. So it makes sense.
If you ever had the
Julie from
opportunity
Philly.
to hear Nakisha, she will captivate you. She dominates the room. It is such an awesome experience. And that was just in a
I
little
appreciate
recording studio in our house some years ago. And everyone just stopped. We had people just coming in from the street looking to find out who was in there singing. So I am so glad
who
to
was
see you,
singing.
and I'm
Uh-huh.
so happy that you're able to join me today. So, Nakisha, I just want to
Yeah,
ask you,
it's an
what
honor
sparked
to.
your desire to move from Philadelphia to Ghana?
It's really funny. I'm just starting to get aware of like certain movements that's happening. When I came to Ghana, I didn't know about the year of return. I have always had dreams since I was a young girl, very young, about things that would happen before they happen. That's always kind of been my energy. And I was having, starting in 20, between 2016 and 2017, real intense dreams about stuff that was happening on the continent. Not only happening in Ghana, but stuff that was happening in Congo, stuff that was happening in Mali. I would see things like it was like right in my face, and then these things would like transpire. So one night, I had a dream, and it was very intense. And I heard a voice, and it was telling me to go to Ghana. And it didn't
Wow.
sound like how everyone comes to Dirty December. It didn't sound like, oh, you should go to Ghana. It felt like a commandment for me.
Wow.
And when I woke up, because it was definitely a masculine voice that I heard. And when I woke up startled because it felt like go to Ghana, like force me. And when I woke up, I felt that same energy like in my bedroom. Like I was like, wow, maybe that wasn't even a dream. And the presence was so mighty that I just didn't move. And sometimes when you read scriptures, you hear about how they be in the presence of different angels and stuff, and they talked about the fear that came over them. That was my experience.
Oh,
And to be
wow.
completely honest, I like to just address like certain ignorances that we have. I didn't even know that Ghana was a country in Africa, to be completely honest. I know people who live in Guyana. My daughter has friends from Guyana. So when I kept hearing go to Ghana, I thought that they meant Guyana. And the very next day, I met a man. It was funny how he like rolled up on me and he was telling me about the royal clothes I needed to wear. This is the day after I had the dream.
Okay.
And he was telling me that I need to be wearing royal clothes. And I was like, where are you from? He said, because I'm just coming from home. And I was like, where is home? And he said, Ghana. And I was like, what is the odds that I literally just had this dream and this man pull up on me telling me I need to wear these clothes from Ghana?
Wow.
And he was trying to sell me fabric, but I was trying to learn more about his country. So our conversation was like, you know.
Wow, that's an
But,
awesome experience.
Yeah, it felt very like the way spirit deals with me, it can be a little intense. So I tried to get to Ghana for like the first 3 months after that dream, and everything I did failed. Like it just didn't work out for me. And I kind of was getting frustrated with God because I like to be obedient. But I was like, why would you tell me to do something and then like now I can't? Like you closing all these doors on me, like what's going on? And lo and behold, I ended up on a continent 369 days from the time that I had the actual dream. And it was just like a series of
Wow.
events of things that happened that led me here. And one of this, like a lot of this series of things that happened was that I was breaking up with the current life that I have. Like I literally am living a life where my new life has required, my old life. I had to like trade in a life, So
Okay.
my journey of coming here wasn't so much like, oh, let me go and live in Ghana. It was more about being obedient to this call, that I heard and that I answered from the spirit for sure.
Wow. So let me ask you, how did your family and friends take it? How did they react when you said you were going to get up and move?
It was mixed because I don't think that I even knew that I was about to move. Like I was called to go to Ghana, so I just wanted to do that. And so I went to Ghana. My first trip was for 21 days. And just the things that I experienced felt like a movie. I was like,
Oh, wow.
and I came with a friend and they was like, no, this is real. Like all the things that was happening because, the people are amazing here. And they say stuff like, welcome, Aquaba. But literally, like animals were greeting me. The way that the atmosphere embraced me, it wasn't just people. It was like the environment
So you
was
were having a
like,
spiritual moment,
and it was
Nikisha.
very spiritual. And the things that was happening to me, people around me was like, yo, something going on. And I was like, I know. And I just couldn't deny it. And it was crazy because when I went back to Philly from the 21 day, my daughter is in your studio audience, but she caught me. I fell out one day because I was having an adverse effect. Meaning that like when I came back to the States, it was really hard for me to adjust being back in the US after spending that time here in Ghana.
Okay.
I was like, I don't belong here, you know? And my daughter, helped me through. It was really challenging. So to answer your questions around how my friends and family, it was mixed. I'm very loved in my community. So like no one wants to see me go.
Yes.
But I think with everything that's kind of happening now, is that you understand it better by and by energy. You know what I'm saying? People are now thinking about exit plans and they like, let me talk to you. Like, what I'm supposed to do, but during it, I won't say that I was so supported, especially when you think about like my mother, my father, my kids' grandparents on, their father's side. Like they love my kids. They was not trying to have me leave or have their grandkids get up out of there. That was
Sure.
not, they wasn't trying to have that happen. But
Sure.
now I understand, for sure.
Nikisha, have you
Yeah.
discovered any cultural similarities between Philadelphia and Ghana? Anything that has surprised you?
I say yes because one thing I always will tell people about Ghana, we live in America, but everyone has a different set of like value systems. And like a lot of friends that I have that are African, in Philly or just in America, they always tell me that I feel like home. So for me, I would say yes because I was raised with my great grandparents. And when I come to Africa, I'm like, my great grandmothers were just like these women. So when I see those, similarities around, living off the land and herbs and, teas and tinctures and that not being taboo and just like a way of life, that feels like home to me. But also like Kwame Nkrumah gave this place their independence and he went to school at UPenn in Lincoln. So
Yes,
it's shop right here. Like it's stuff here like Philly.
absolutely.
Philly has been coming to Ghana,
Yeah, the
for such
Eagles.
a long time. The Eagles are here now. Like there is some things where I look and I'm like, my city, that kind of thing. But yeah, to answer your question, I can see some impressions that people who came here left. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? For
So let me
sure.
ask you, Nikisha,
From
because
our city and stuff.
there's a lot of information on social media that have been talking about the Ghanaian people not liking African Americans, that they're sabotaging their land, they're jealous because the Americans are able to get some land that they have not been able to. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? How true is that?
Want to say is like to speak for all Ghanaians or to speak for all African Americans who are having this experience. I don't feel like I have the ability to do that. I am aware that these things are happening because I am aware that a lot of us are moving out of ignorance. Even like how land is purchased here, there's no such thing as you really actually owning land, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They have a policy here where it's family ancestral land, right? And they will lease it out to you as a steward. But because in the West, we have this mindset like we own it and we are in control of it. There's a lot of things that happen. They could sell the land from you. So just to back up, like if you're not a citizen, the family will lease the land to you for 50 years, right?
Okay.
If you are a citizen, you can get lease of land for 99 years, right? Now, that doesn't mean that after the 50 or the 99 years, you lose your land, but the real stewards of the land are actually the family, and they're very connected spiritually to that land. So they do monitor. They do monitor to see if you'll be a good steward over the land. If you get a 50-year lease on land here, and you after 12 years don't do nothing with the land, the family can come and take it and buy it, sell it to someone else, or because what they're more connected to spirit into saying the land shouldn't go idle.
Okay.
If you're not going to be a good steward over this land, then these things will happen. Another thing people don't understand too is that if you purchase land here or lease land for 50 years, right? But then you sell it to me, I don't actually get 50 years. If you sell it
Nakisha, sounds like
to
you're
me
having
after
technical
10 years, then my
difficulties.
lease is actually 40 years.
Nakisha,
So a
sounds
lot
like you're having
of
technical difficulties. We'll come back to you. Thank you so much for being with us today and all the information you provided. You have to come back again. Love you. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. So next up, we have Karen Hopkins. Karen Hopkins actually is the daughter of Nakisha, and she's in studio here with me today. We thought that getting the perspective of moving to Ghana and, just uprooting yourself, everything that you have always known all your life, and going to Ghana as a young person could be a little hard. So we have Karen in studio with us today, and she's gonna just kind of share her experience as a young person moving to Ghana, not knowing anyone. Karen, how are you today?
I'm okay. I'm a little nervous,
You
but
are
I'm
nervous?
okay. How are you doing?
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you for visiting with us today. I know you
Yes.
have a busy schedule. Karen, you also, in moving to Ghana, you did start a business.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about your business?
So my business is called Goth in Ghana. It's a goth punk alternative accessories and tooth gem brand. The past few years, I've been into alternative fashion, punk fashion, goth fashion. And so I've been going back and forth to Ghana for about 3 years. And I noticed that they have like a small scene, but there's not a place, a set place where they can go and get these things. A lot of these things are like found at like the local markets, but people used to always see me and be like, where'd you get this from? Where'd you get this from?
Can you guys put the camera on these boots that this young lady is wearing? Oh my
Yes.
gosh, look at these boots.
And so I wanted to be that source, you know, that people could come get all their accessories from.
Okay.
Most of the time I get my accessories from the States and then I bring it over there and resell it. And then I also do tooth gems. So basically it's like installing Swarovski crystals on your teeth. That's what I do. I have some of my teeth. And it's completely safe. And so it's been a really nice thing over in Ghana because people are interested in getting grills. And what I can say is not a lot of like stuff like that over there, resources to do grills. So I don't do grills, but I am giving them that, you know, that opportunity to get tooth gems. Maybe they can flex a little bit until grills come and be in Ghana.
That's smart. I'm proud of you as a young person to think of that. When I'm listening to you and to the others, it sounds like Ghana it's a wonderful opportunity to bring business from the U.S., different ventures that we have here that they do not have. It's a wonderful opportunity to move over there and to start business. Let me just ask you real quick, what was your reaction when your mom said you all were moving to Ghana?
So at first I was very, very excited because like I'm traveling across the world. I've never been to another country before, so I'm just like, yeah, let's go. But then it was some hesitation because I knew I would have to leave this behind. You know, and honestly, when I didn't have a plan. It was just like, my mom was like, we going to Ghana. I wasn't working, I ain't had no money. So I was kind of stressed. I was like, I gotta leave my family behind, the life that I'm used to. It was like I had to leave and start a whole new life, figure out a whole new life. It was really stressful. It was really stressful.
I can imagine.
But I was excited, and I don't regret nothing. I don't regret nothing.
Have you been able to connect with other young people, African Americans over there, as well as the Ghanaian young people?
Yes, so I have an amazing group of friends. They're mainly diasporans, but I do have some friends who are Ghanaians. I met most of my friends. We have an organization over there called the African American Association of Ghana. And so I ended up meeting them. They had a Juneteenth event. And at the Juneteenth event, they were teaching Ghanaians about the holiday. Because you'd be surprised, some Ghanaians don't even know slavery existed. They don't teach, in my experience from my conversations with people, they don't teach about the slave trade in schools. Yeah, so so I met most of my friends at the Juneteenth event. I was able to, what does it to me? Should I mind that? I'm sorry.
No.
But yeah, I was able to talk to them, and I'm really grateful that I met them because we help each other navigate through the struggles that we go through, the cultural differences. In my experience with making friends with Ghanaian people, it's been up and down because of the cultural differences, language barriers, and also just me being a little bit shy and timid. But overall, I have met some great people,
So where are you guys hanging out?
So Ghana has an amazing creative scene. Like, there's so many different artists, fashion designers, like, they have a great creative scene. So I end up meeting the people at Juneteenth, and they introduced me to the creative scene. And so we hang out at the little events that they have. You know, sometimes you go to the club, but there's like little workshops and events. There's also a free recording studio called Vibrate. Kendrick Lamar, he actually funds it. Yeah, in Ghana. So you can go and record for free your music. So we hang out over there. It's a skate park there too. Yeah, and that's where I meet a lot of my friends and a lot of clients too. Yeah, so it's a lot of cool hangout spots, creative spots for.
I just want to ask you, how has living in Ghana changed your life as a young African American woman?
Oh, drastically. Like, before I went to Ghana, I really thought that America was the end all be all for my life. But because I was able to travel and see that I don't gotta suffer, you know, I wouldn't say suffering over here, but my life is hard over here, you know. Over there I can be myself, I can be free, I can be feminine, you know. I don't have to stress all the time. I don't always have to watch behind my back and always have to keep, you know, be a little hostile to people for my protection. Over there I can just be free. And so it changed my life really, because like, I'm sorry, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful. But yeah, it changed my life, and yeah, that's all I can say.
How has the move shaped your dreams as a young person? You know, people coming up, you have these dreams. I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to go to beauty school, whatever it may be. I want to be an artist. How has that reshaped your life?
So I have a few dreams. So I am into goth and punk alternative fashion, but I also am a horticulture enthusiast. I love plants, nature, farming, gardening. So
Definitely your mother's child.
yes. So in Ghana, when I see literally almost everybody I know is a farmer over there. So like, I'm always learning from them. They always giving advice, and it's also just seeing. Like, you can be driving down the street and you'll see a mango tree, papaya tree, and you have to ask, but you can go there and pick.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Just straight off the street.
That's amazing.
And so that's inspiring, because it's like, I can do that too. I can be free to grow here, and it's not like I have to beg for land, or I can just, because you know, you can't just, nowadays you can't just go out and plant on the street. You have to get a permit or something just to grow. I don't have to do that over there, you know. But yes, I want to be a plant pathologist, and there's a need for me in Ghana. And so people are always talking to me, asking me about how can I help them, and that's opportunities, you know. So yeah, I think I answered your question. Did I answer your question?
You did. You did.
Yeah.
You did. So let me ask, what would your advice be to a young person who's relocating? You know, maybe they didn't want to, and the parents is, you know, forcing them to get up and go, because that's how young people look at it. You're forcing me to go. So what advice would you give to a person who's relocating to Africa, and they're not sure of what to expect, or you know, how drastic of a change it's going to be for their life?
Yes. So I would say go with the flow, but actually, no. You need to have a plan.
Plan, people,
yes,
plan.
You need to have a plan. You can go without a plan, but you'll be working twice as hard. So I suggest being clear and serious about what you want to do with your life while you're here, before you make that move. You can always figure it out over there, but I suggest doing it here, because maybe you want to be a lawyer, but you know, the pay is different over there when it's being a lawyer. You get paid more here rather than being over there. So it's just like figuring out what you want to do, what type of life you want to live, and seeing if it's feasible to do in Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. Now let me just ask you, because there had been talk about, you know, some gangs and things like that. So you have some people, I'm asking questions on behalf of the people, things that people want to know. So there had been talk about, you know, gang wars and different things going on and not being safe in the streets. How true is that? And what have you experienced as a young person? I'm sure that's out in probably the clubs and, you know, club scenes, hanging out at the malls and all of those types of things.
So
have you ever felt unsafe?
There's crime everywhere, okay? But in my experience, they ain't gangsters.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've hung out with a lot of people. I've been all over Accra, and it's really hard to own a gun out there. Like, you need to own land, you need to own a house. A lot of people don't own a house. So it's like, and from my experience, so it's like, there are gangs, but the gangs have respect too. They're not gonna target a kid that's not involved. You know, it's with honor. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's way safer. You know, you can be out at night just make sure you're with a friend, but that's anywhere. You know what I'm saying? There are, people here and there who want to target you, especially if you're a woman,
Yes.
to try and see, but it's very rare. Like, I haven't had any experience, and I've been going for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience.
That's good to hear, because when you hear stories come about that, there's a young lady who, in her hotel lobby, she went missing, and she said someone kidnapped her, and her friend was just visiting.
But it's
When you
like
hear
that
those kind of
everywhere.
things.
Those things happen everywhere in the world.
Very true.
So, yeah, Ghana is relatively safer than Philly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much. From the mouth of babes, guys, I thank Karen so much for joining us today. I know your mother is proud. We're going to get your mother back on
Yes,
to
thank
do a
you
part
too.
2 because we need more time to talk
Yes.
about Ghana. And I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of my guests today. Join in to Naomi Spot on our next episode, which will be coming out soon. Check phillycam.com. You have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Discover the Cascades at Sambra City, Aqua's newest premium community designed for families seeking comfort, connection, and a meaningful return to their roots. Inspired by the Akan phase Sambra, meaning return, this 300-acre development or return city invites the global diaspora to build lasting legacies in Ghana. The Cascades offers spacious 2-bedroom apartments and elegant 4 and 5-bedroom villas with optional swimming pools in a secure modern estate just 15 minutes from Kotoka Airport. This exciting green community boasts luxurious bathrooms and kitchens with modern appliances and family-friendly amenities such as a nursery, community center with pool and sports facilities, grocery mart, and shared workspaces. Sambra City is more than a home, it's a lifestyle crafted for growth, belonging, and generational wealth.